Kind of wade through the things. The aggravated assault, that was a domestic. We had one relative that pushed another and then used a tree branch and hit her with that. No serious injuries with that, but he was arrested for the aggravated assault. The arson, that was a car that was found on fire. We had a couple of people that reported it. That's pretty much it. No suspects. Somebody heard a car driving away, and then when they looked out, saw the fire. But outside of that, we don't have any other details on suspects. I'm not sure if the fire investigators have determined a cause yet on that.
Where was that at?
That was near 38th and Lake.
Around what time?
That was probably about 2 a.m. We got the call about 2:15 or so. The burglary, that was a garage that was entered. They had some cars inside the garage. Sounds like somebody went through pretty much everything, took a bunch of tools. They did take a shotgun that was out of one of the vehicles. Let's see, and there was no forced entry with that. So the counterfeiting, that was a fake 100 that was passed. The disorderly, that was a disorderly phone call report. The embezzlement was a car that was loaned out. The family dispute was, all those are reports. The frauds, ID thefts, checks, so another fake $10 bill was passed. The larcenies, nothing real big out of those. Some shopliftings, license plate, bicycle. There was a dog that was taken. Somebody let out a puppy in their backyard, and when they went to let them back in, it was gone. So they suspect somebody stole the dog. The narcotics, marijuana, and meth. The sex offenses, we have a few of them on there. One of them I'll talk about, but the others are all reports. The one big one was, this came in about 10:30 or so last night. And here it is. So we had dad called police, and he's got a 15-year-old daughter who has functions at a lower level than that. But he found out that his 15-year-old daughter had been meeting with a 22-year-old man, and they ended up going to, it was the Rushmore Motel. Once he found out this guy was there, he ended up calling police. Once the officers kind of dug into things and figured out what was going on, they found out that this 22-year-old had raped the 15-year-old. I'm not sure the exact number of times that it happened, but it sounds like it may have been more than once over a couple of day period. But he was arrested for the rape charges. I don't have the degree, but it was rape. So I don't know if it was second or third degree rape. But the guy's last name is Olsen, O-L-S-E-N. First is Benjamin, B-E-N-J-A-M-I-N. Middle is Allen, A-L-L-E-N. And he's 22 from Sioux Falls. And he will make his first court appearance this afternoon.
So this was like around 10:30. The dad found out they were at the Rushmore Motel.
Yeah, he was at the Rushmore Motel. Dad found out, I'm not sure. We got called about 10:40 p.m. So it may have been a little bit before that he discovered that she had been meeting this guy, and then he went to go find out where, and then she directed him to the Rushmore. And sorry.
Oh, did they know each other prior?
Yeah, I don't, what I have in the report doesn't say that. So there had been some contact. I'm not sure where they met each other. I don't know if it was online, but there had been some text messages, I believe, that were going back and forth, and there may have been some phone calls too. So I don't have all the details yet of how they met or what led to that, but there had been some contact before, either phone or text message. They'd been contacting each other before they met in person.
That sounds like he may have raped her before.
Yeah, I don't know the exact thing. And I think one of the things that they'll probably be working on is going through Child's Voice to get a forensic audit, and hopefully they'll get some more details from that. But there was enough to make a probable cause arrest last night, and so that's why he was arrested. All right. The simple assaults, nothing big from those. Those are more domestics. The sudden unattended death, that was almost a 2-year-old boy that was found deceased. Doesn't sound like there's anything suspicious with that, but obviously with all unattended deaths, and especially young children like that, that we investigate them fully. But on the surface, there doesn't appear to be anything suspicious. The vandalisms, we had a couple of graffiti calls. One of them had a business window that was broken. Somebody threw a chunk of concrete at it. Another one, I don't have any reports yet. And then the autopsy on Nima Sherpa was completed yesterday. The coroner found that there was no evidence of trauma at all, so that rules out a homicide or suicide. We know that it was not a homicide or suicide. Because of the decomposition of the body, he was not able to give an exact manner or cause of death, so he listed that as undetermined. But the main thing is we know that there wasn't any suspicious circumstances surrounding the death. And that's all I have, unless you guys have anything else.
Did you already discuss Hidden?
Yeah, that was, you mean the press release that was sent out?
Yeah.
That was actually Sunday night. There's some issue with the email from the sergeant that sent that out. So it happened Sunday night. It wasn't a hit and run, it was just a car pedestrian accident. It was about 12:30 a.m. Near 41st and Shirley. We had a guy that was driving west on 41st Street, and then there was a pedestrian that stepped off the curb and was struck by the car. The driver didn't see the pedestrian, heard the noise, stopped, and then saw the man in the street, and then he called 911. So I say it was, the injuries were non-life-threatening injuries. I haven't had an update since then, but no charges at this point in time. Speed and alcohol did not appear to be a factor, at least with the driver. Anything else?
Any update on Angela Armstrong autopsy?
No, I think Angela Armstrong autopsy, they're still waiting for the toxicology report to come back. So we're just kind of in a waiting game until that's done.
Will toxicology be done on Nima Sherpa as well?
I don't believe so. That was one of the things, just because of the state of decomposition, he wasn't able to get any type of toxicology stuff. So that's partly one of the reasons that it was done his decision was done yesterday and ruled undetermined, was because he wasn't able to send anything off for toxicology reports.
Were they able to find out how long Nima was in that car and not decomposing at all?
How long he was in the car?
Yeah.
We don't know. I mean, I think the assumption is probably soon after, or around the time that he was reported missing, is probably when he ended up in that car, and nobody saw him. Just the way that he was in the back seat, and then there was that kind of that sled equipment, ice fishing sled that covered that back seat. Nobody saw him in there, and so I think they're operating off the assumption that he was there the whole time.
Is the case considered closed at this point?
I'll have to do some checking with the detectives, but I would guess that it's probably done and closed. But I'll have to check with them to make sure. I mean, the main thing is, we do the things on our end investigating it. Obviously, with missing persons, finding the person is the priority. In a case like this where he's found deceased, then it's up to the coroner to make that determination if there was anything suspicious surrounding that. So if it was a homicide, obviously there'd be more work to do, but since the coroner has determined that there was no trauma and ruled out any homicide or suicide, I believe the investigation should be complete, but I'll double check with the detectives.
Do you have anything on a possible fight at a Super 8 on East 10th last night? Several police officers responded
did see something. Let me see if I can find that. So I think, yeah, this must be at about 11 p.m. We had a man that was assaulting his girlfriend. There were several people that tried to intervene, and then he began assaulting them. Let's see. When the officers went to take the suspect into custody, he ended up spitting in one of the officers, actually a couple of different officers, in their face. Looks like he was arrested for simple assault domestic, simple assault on law enforcement, resisting arrest, obstruction, and disorderly conduct.
No sliding?
No, that would have been the simple assault on law enforcement. Just given the circumstances, they decided that was the more appropriate charge. And I think that's kind of it. Yeah, I think that's mostly it, so.
I think we have the same.
Oh, yeah. His last name is Graham, Graham. First is Jimmy, Jimmie. Middle is Robert, Robert. He's a junior, and he's 29 from Sioux Falls. Anything else? Okay, thank you.